Hello there.
All right. We're coming in clear and good. Good. Okay. Happy Monday.
Happy Monday.
Welcome, everybody out there.
I think I have to go. I have to go get my phone, but I'll wait.
Your headphones?
No, you know what? I think it's my super powerful, super high quality headphones that are making all those clicking and farting noises.
No, I don't hear anything on my end. Just so you know.
it's my headphones for sure.
Okay.
Because they were making some crazy noises just a few minutes ago.
Well, welcome to Monday's edition of I'll Take the L, where today's L is for LEXICON.
I love it.
Well, I want to start with something else first. We're going to do a little update to something else first. But
we have updates. I love when we have updates. I feel so good.
What was I going to say? So, comment. Oh, okay. Haha. I was going to say something. I forgot what it was. Oh, I was going to ask you how you were, how your weekend was, what's going on with you, anything exciting? No. I can hear you I can hear an echo in the back of me.
Oh no. Okay, let me get some earbuds.
What happened? You don't like your new headphones now?
No, they were just like screeching and making like Max Headroom sounds in my ear today.
Oh.
I told it was my ear.
We gotta get you some good headphones.
I just spent those were like $50 headphones.
I believe it.
For like YouTube.
I love these headphones. They're $25, and I have like 3 pairs of them. I'll have to send you the link. I love them. How was your weekend?
It was good. It was quiet. I did. I got to go. I went grocery shopping with my nephew, and it was the first time I saw him since I got the coof.
Oh, all right.
I'll pass on buying followers. Thanks, though.
Oh, darn. No. Buy followers.
No.
They come in. That one bot comes in everywhere. Let's come in everywhere. Oh, delete it. My husband is on the game today in the moderation. He just deleted that. Yeah, what did I do this weekend? I don't even know.
We went grocery shopping, and I was like throwing massive shade at, you see all my junk back there. I was throwing massive shade at his car because it was like covered in pollen. I was like, his windshield was all dirty. I was like, when's the last time you washed your car, dude? He's like, don't start with me. And I was looking over the roof of his car. I was like, dang, dude, your car needs a Zyrtec. He was like, fine.
I hate that.
But he parks under a car. He was like, so just for me, because I'm the favorite aunt in the family. So just for me, we went through a $12 car wash just so we could park under a tree that weeps pollen,
nice.
When we got home.
Very nice, very nice. I did all the shopping this weekend. All of it.
I did all of my grocery shopping. I have to make soup after this.
Oh, that sounds like fun.
I don't know if it's going to happen. It might happen tomorrow.
Okay. Trying to think. I did some major yard work.
You're always doing major yard work.
I know, because
my yard do you have like 20 acres?
Mess. No, it's just that like the people
who cars on bricks here, or what?
No, the people who lived here before us had a hot mess, and it's taken me forever to get it. And also, it's just like the upkeep every year, like we mulch it. So I have to remulch the yard, and I have to like clean it up and weed and all this stuff. And we have an apple tree that I had to trim a lot of the branches because it was getting a little out of control. So stuff like that. Mm-hmm. But, and just mow. And our grass grows like faster than anything. So I'm always like every week I'm like mowing it. So, yeah, so I just like a lot of chickens. Oh no. I already have enough animals. I don't want any more. I'm a little animaled out right now. We're at our max capacity over
on the inside, but the chickens go outside.
Yeah, no. I'm not feeling that at all. Sorry.
Then you can add eggs to your diet. Don't you like eggs?
I have eggs all the time to my diet.
Well, then they could be free. Be fresh.
It's not really free. It's not like free.
No, it's not really free.
It's like not free beer. It's free kitten. It's, that's what it is. So, yeah. So it's not free at all. It's actually quite expensive than just buying a carton of eggs. So, I'm trying to think. So last week, it was either last week or the week before, we talked about labor in terms of employment. And we talked about a couple of studies and, articles and our own experiences of being overweight and into the job market, and how science has shown us and proven to us that people do have biases against people who are against people's looks, and weight is one of them, and that people make assumptions based on people's weight, and they're not, rarely are they positive, they're mostly not, they make assumptions about their intellect, their emotional stability, their laziness, their level of laziness, their motivation, all sorts of really terrible stereotypes that we put towards fat people. So as I was doing some research for today's topic, I happened to come across an article that kind of grabbed my eyes, and it's from the Scandinavian Journal of Management, and it's from March of 2019. But it was interesting because it hit on two things. Because what we found out was not only was being a woman and then being a person of color a detriment, and then being both those things together, but then being an overweight woman of color would also suck the most. So the title of this article was, "I Have to Go the Extra Mile: How Fat Female Employees Manage Their Stigmatized Identity at Work." And while we didn't get to read the entire article because we didn't have access to it, we did have the abstract and the highlights. And what I thought was interesting is that, so they say, I highlighted this, is body size is a marker of diversity in organizations that intersects with gender, which is really interesting to me, because I would never in a million years ever thought of diversity in terms of body size. I don't know if that's something you think of, because I don't think of that.
No.
Because when I hire or search for somebody, I look for their ability and their experience. I don't look at their body type. And aside from the fact that you really can't hire or not hire based on somebody's appearance for many reasons, that doesn't even come into my head, that idea of I should be hiring different body types. And I'm not entirely sure how I feel about that.
Hey, Coffin Queen.
Hey, what's up? How are you? I don't know, to me, that's just another body type. Body size to me almost feels like we're really kind of pushing it a little bit. Well, I can appreciate working in a diverse, where people look like me.
Hey, Toasty, good to see you.
But I don't know if I would think about that when I'm actively searching for fat people while hiring. That's just not something I see myself ever doing. I don't know. What do you think?
I never really thought about my body size in terms of my employment, outside of me and my personal experience being able, knocking over the water pitchers and then losing weight because my job was a physical job.
Right.
And that was not discrimination. It just was what it was. Hey, Big Boss. So I don't know. I don't know. It's weird because I've never hired anybody before either. So how do you do that?
You can't.
You have two people who are equally qualified, and one is a man and one is an overweight woman. How do you choose that? How do you choose?
You don't. My thing would be, there's always have to be some kind of rubric you're using where somebody's got to out-edge the person. You know what I'm saying? Unless you are specifically looking for diversity hiring, which is what people do say they do. So, and that's a very broad topic. That doesn't necessarily mean people of color. It could mean females. It could mean trans, sexuality, anything like that. So, I would never even look at somebody's body size and be like, oh, we should hire them. They're qualified. And we should definitely hire them because we need more fat.
So I was just like looking. That means you're doing that up and down look when you're talking to them.
It seems very odd to me. And so then, so that was the one thing that kind of was like, I don't ever think of that. But then there was the next bunch of highlights that really had me like pumping my fists in the air going, okay, so fatness is constructed through healthism.
Big boss.
Yeah, exactly. And fatness is constructed through healthism and obesity discourse as a moral issue. So yeah, that's exactly what we were talking about at the beginning just now, is that based on our intrinsic biases towards weight, and then as we talked about in that episode, it doesn't even have to be, it's your own intrinsic biases of your way, of how you look. It doesn't even have to be about how you look at other people and view fat. It looks at how you view your own weight and your body size. We come up with all these assumptions that when you start looking at the actual assumptions, that you're really putting a moral value on people. You're making a moral judgment about somebody. So by saying that they are lazy or they are unintelligent or, they are, the one that really killed me was that they are emotionally unstable. Like you can tell that from just looking at somebody. I mean, it was just ridiculous. So again, we see this is just more evidence that is true, that's what happens, and that we do that regardless of whether we mean to or not. And then it says fat female employees engage in identity work to manage fat stigma. Managing fat stigma increases the workload for fat employees, and identity work involves both narrative and embodied strategies. So this is building on, the fact that we already as women have a little bit of an obstacle ahead of us in the workplace in getting promoted and hired and salaries. And now if you're saying if you're fat, that's another strike against you. And
I work in healthcare, and so I work with a lot of nurses. So I work with a lot of women, and I just see overweight women excelling. It's so strange to hear this. It is? It's the field that I work in.
Well, I think part of it is because this goes back to what I was talking about too, how I had never felt discriminated against for anything, for being my gender or my weight. And I think what the common denominator for both of us is female-dominated profession. So when you're talking about a profession where women are the predominant workers, you probably aren't seeing. I mean, I could envision it going both ways. I could see you're not going to see it a lot, or you're going to go the traditional ultra catty mean girl route too, right? So it's probably the spectrum. But for the most, I mean, there's plenty of that. There's plenty of that. But I mean, I guess in terms of like when your job applicant pool is female mostly, and your promotional pool is female mostly, you're not going to run into that as commonly as you would say in business or Wall Street or finance, something like a more male predominant profession. And this study kind of talks about that. So this says this study explores how fat female employees engage in identity work to manage stigmatizing expectations grounded in healthism and obesity discourse that construct fat people as unhealthy, stupid, unprofessional, and lazy. We interviewed 22 women who identified as fat, full-figured, or obese. They were self-identified. And it revealed that they engaged in identity work strategies in order to project a professional appearance and highlight their work performances. So when we say identity work strategies, I talked about that. Yeah. When we talk about identity work strategies, they're talking about things like they said, many strategies reproduce dominant notions about fatness, such as smartening up, distracting, hiding, concealing, humor. The one I did was overcompensating, explaining, and defensive othering. So yet at times, some participants also use strategies that challenge dominant discourses about size, such as flaunting, irony, and self-acceptance. The identity work strategies our participants engaged in were not just narrative, many involved what they did with their bodies. We therefore argue the need for further theorizing embodied identity work, specifically with regards to how size matters in the context of employment. So yeah, I would love to see more work done on that. But it's interesting to say that, you know, to see that these women said the same thing, basically. Like, you know, like how I said I dressed better than most people did because I felt like I had to, or somebody, you know, it's the typical trope of like being employing self-deprecating humor or being the funny person because, you know, that means you're not the fat person, you're the funny one instead, right? So it's all that. Right. So these are all valid and real things that are happening in the work environment and in society as it's greater. So I just wanted to bring that up because I thought that was a really interesting study. Absolutely. And I really liked the highlights that they pulled out from that were interesting. Specifically, the diversity thing, I would never, ever have, never would have crossed my mind in a million years. But now I'm going to think about it more. I don't think I'll ever employ it because I still think it's probably illegal, but okay. All right. So today we're going to talk about the words, the vocabulary that we use. So
okay,
when
I'm going to go grab my phone. I'll be right back.
Okay, go get it. Go get it. And when I say we, I am referring to people like us who are overweight and how we prefer, what terms we prefer to use when we're describing ourselves, because there is a lot of conversation and discourse, and there have been studies done to find out what kind of words people prefer to use or prefer being used when they're being spoken to. Now, we talked about language a couple of weeks ago, or a couple shows ago, where we talked about how the way we spoke to ourselves directly influences our actions, our beliefs about ourselves, our successes, our losses, things like that, and how, you know, for the most part, self-motivation through like self-talking or talking to yourself and like kind of, you know, giving what do you call it? Focusing on a positive and all that kind of thing, having a mantra, it really does affect you and can really bring out your best performance. So then there's this other half of it. Okay, so what kind of wording do you like to use when you're talking to yourself about yourself? Like what words bother you? What words don't bother you? So I think I wanted to ask you right off the bat, Angie, when you get back.
I'm back.
Okay. What do you think of the word fat? Does the word fat bother you?
The word fat doesn't bother me. I think it is what it is, you know.
Sandy, hey Sandy.
And as much as I dislike it, it is what I am. I'm fat, you know. I'm a fatty.
Did it ever bother you at any time in life?
I mean, it can bother me. It all depends. It depends on how it's used. Like, right. I remember when I had meningitis back in the day, and I was in the emergency room, and the doctor was like, "We're gonna do a lumbar puncture on you." He was a foreign doctor. I don't know what country he was from, but he was like, "But we have to do it. We have to do it under fluoroscopy because you're so fat. We can't get, you know, we can't." Yeah, and he said it that way. He was poking me in my spine when he said it, because you're so fat. We can't just go blind. Like, and I looked at him and I'm like, you know, and I had this raging headache because I had meningitis, and I'm like, fuck you, you know, like, where's your bedside manner? Like, there's a better way to say it. But for somebody to be just like, you're fat, like, surprise, like, where's the cake? Let me jump out of it for you, you know?
Right.
So there's a difference. Like, I think there's a difference, and I think it's all about the intention with your words, you know, like,
yeah,
because it is what it is. Like, I don't think, I mean, it's kind of like how I don't think that, like, Black people went from being the N-word to being colored, to being Negroes, to being Black, to being African American. I don't think that's going to happen for fat people. We went from being fat to being obese, and that's about it. And I think for me, like, I'm okay with it. Other people, if you want to be called something else, just let me know. You know,
when I was younger, like I'm talking younger, like teenager, like early teens, like young, it bothered me. But it bothered me because I was young and I had not a lot of life experience, and I did not have enough life experience or had not developed my sense of sarcasm enough yet to be like, to realize that when somebody calls you fat, it's probably the dumbest fucking insult they can come up with, because it's like, it's the most low effort insult ever.
Yes.
And it's also just like, oh God, you got me. I didn't know. Like, I mean, I don't know. I don't own any mirrors. I had no idea.
Right. Coffin Queen says, I think fat still bothers me. I usually describe myself as chubby, but I'm used to the outside world calling me plus size. Doctors say obese is a clinical word, or overweight, so I've heard that too. And I'll say this too, like, fat is what it is. Fat is fat. Fat is a thing. Fat is something that you can hold. You can cut it off of meat. You can cut it off of a steak. I've got Trader Joe's pork belly in my freezer,
right.
Fat is fat. Like, and that in that sense, like, that is not what I am. I'm a overweight person. I'm an obese person. I'm a human being. I'm more than, the fat cells in my body to that, in that sense. But I mean, as a descriptor of my size, like, I don't mind the F word, but because I'm working on myself, and I'm certainly more than that. Right. And even if I wasn't working on myself, even if I wasn't doing anything,
still more than that. And that's exactly
more than that.
Yeah.
And I think for me, for the lexicon, like, I wish there was an L word for assumptions. Like, I just wish that people wouldn't make assumptions about who I am and what my worth is because they look at my size and say, well, obviously they don't care about themselves because look at them. They're 300, 400, 500, 600 pounds. Like, I'm sorry. My name is Angie. It's nice to meet you. You want to hear my story?
Right. Well, in our house, fat is just a descriptive word for anything that's that it fits under, and we don't put any.
Where's our bear back here?
It's behind me. Oh, it's over there in the corner. Ava cleaned up the office.
All right, Ava.
And it looks better than I did. Anyway, so I don't. We don't put a negative connotation to that word. And we also are extraordinarily vigilant about that with the kids, that we do not allow them to use that word in a negative way when they talk about other people, or they talk to each other, or they describe, because it's just not polite, nice, or anything. And I don't want them to we don't want them to associate that word with a negative. It's because it's not, it's just a word. All right. It's just a descriptive word of an item or of something. So it bothered me a million years. They do understand that people weaponize it. Yes, they do. We have explained to them why we don't want them using it negatively, because when people do, it hurts other people's feelings. Right. Regardless of how you may feel about the word. So at a time in my life, it probably bothered me a lot. And then as I got older, I was like, what the fuck ever? Because, like, seriously, like I said before, this is like the lowest IQ, like, insult ever. So maybe do better. I'm always like, do better. Like, I'm always just better. We tried. It's great. Do better next time. And for those people who don't know me, I don't think it might be easy for me to sit here and say that. I still felt that way when I had 250 pounds on top of me, right on me, than I am now. So even at my heaviest of 420 plus pounds, I was just like, do better, find something else. Not hard. So So that word doesn't bother me. And as we've kind of talked about prior, I don't have an issue with the word obese or morbidly obese. To me, it's because I always had a health science as medical background. And so I always saw them just as medical terms or, health related terms that meant something. And, there is a difference between obese and morbidly obese and overweight in a clinical way. So to me, that was they're just descriptors that are used in medicine. But what I don't like is when that word is thrown at me in the doctor's office as the excuse for every issue I'm having, or as the thing that we're going to focus on and not focus on the actual reason I'm here, because, I'm fat. So they're going to blame everything on that. Naturally, that's the cause of all my problems, right? So that's kind of how I feel about the word fat. But I think, unlike other people, I might say something that's potentially argumentative, but I don't like the kind of soft, cute ways of describing being fat. I don't like the full-figured. I don't like curvy. I don't like, whatever the fuck the words are, like bigger. It's just like, to me. And it's purely my own personal thing. I would rather you just say I'm fat or obese. Like, just don't pretty it up, because it is what it is. Like, you're just describing.
People have to get to that point, though. I think people have to get to that point. Yeah, and I think those words are very useful. I think it's very useful to be able to come to terms with the fact that, you're not a skinny legend. And I think curvy and chubby and chunky and
thick and fluffy. I hate my fucking hate that word. And it's all over the fucking knitting community, all over the place. I can't stand it. They call it fluffy.
All of those words, they allow us to like feel good about ourselves and still like admit that we're not.
They're positively connotative words. I get it.
And we gotta find a way to like just get to the nitty gritty. And some people just can't get to the nitty gritty. They beat around the bush, or they're not ready to say it yet, or they feel like, it's a personal attack or what have you. Like, they're just not there. Like, I feel like they all have a use. Like, it's just a loving, kind way for them to talk to themselves, because when they say fluffy out loud, they're saying, I'm so ugly and horrible inside.
And to be fair, just to I don't like them being used to describe me. So if you ever want to describe me, just say fat, overweight. I don't care.
Well, I will. I'm just going to call you beautiful, because that's the thing. Like, it's not my place to call. Right. It's not my place to call you fat. Like, it's not my place to call anybody else. It's not my place to comment on anybody else's size.
Well, unless you're describing my size, there really is no reason for you to say that. So, but my thing is that if I'm in a conversation with somebody talking about size or weight, I will ask somebody how they would like to be referred to. I will ask them, how do you refer to your size? Like, what's comfortable for you? Because I get you. Like, not everybody's okay with.
Right. I'm just going to say overweight or bigger
Right. Yeah. I just personally don't like it, because I don't like the cutesiness of it. I don't like infantilizing words either. That drives me crazy. So, okay. So let's see. We have some actual research here.
Because we always do.
Because we always do. What words should we use to talk about weight? A systematic review of quantitative and qualitative studies examining preferences for weight-related terminology. And this is from Obesity Reviews, and it is from the February 2020 issue. And it says, evidence of weight stigma and its harmful consequences have led to an increased attention to the words that are used to talk about obesity and body weight, including calls for efforts to carefully consider weight-related terminology and promote respectful language in the obesity and medical fields. Yes, please. Yes, I would like that a lot. And remind me to tell you an awful story about me and a doctor after this is over. Despite increased research studies examining people's preferences for specific words that describe body weight, there has been no systematic review to synthesize existing evidence on perceptions of and preferences for weight-related terminology. So this is their first study, the first study like this. So they identified 33 studies, and then they did a review of that. So if for those of us who are not in the science field, the systematic review is when people they do literature searches for scholarly articles in their respective databases, and then they take the ones that they find. What?
You're so smart.
Oh, they take. This
so
is what
sexy,
I taught. This is what I taught.
Scott, I'm coming for your girl.
And they take these studies that are most closely related to what they're looking at, the question that they're looking for, and then they do a review of them. They read them and they analyze them to see what kind of results came from these studies. So that's what a systematic review is. Okay, so it says here, across studies, findings generally suggest that neutral terminology, like the words weight or unhealthy weight, are preferred, and words like obese and fat are least acceptable, particularly in provider-patient conversations about weight. However, individual variation in language preferences is evident across demographic characteristics like race, ethnicity, gender, and weight status. And of priority is future research that can improve upon the limited diversity of the existing literature. So basically what they're saying is that there have not been many studies done on this. This was one of the first ones done on this size, which was not even that big. It was 33 articles, and they didn't find out a lot, and they want to keep going, which I think is a great idea. But I thought it was interesting that I don't think I'd want to be referred to as being at an unhealthy weight, because unless you have something
before we figure out the words to use, let's figure out let's figure out a more appropriate BMI scale. Like one of the things I learned in my therapy or whatever, well, not whatever. One of the things I learned in therapy is that the BMI scale is based on a 170-pound white male in his peak of health, right? So how difficult, and I know that it would be difficult, but how difficult would it be to have a few different BMI scales, for African Americans, for Hispanic people, for Asian people, for women, for men?
Talking sense over here. What the heck?
You know what I mean? I think it would be a much more useful, not useful, but I think it would be if I had to place priorities, because then you would have a much more useful gauge for terms like healthy weight and unhealthy weight for your BMI.
So Coffin Queen says, unhealthy weight means the same to me as morbidly obese. I feel like it's a softer version, less scary than morbidly, right? Okay, so let me put a comment on that for a second. Let me respond to that. I have no problem with the terms morbidly obese or somebody telling me that I'm at an unhealthy weight. If you can tell me that my problems that I'm dealing with, that I've come to you, and the issues that I'm having are because of my weight. So if you're going to tell me that I am at an unhealthy weight, then you better show me some lab results that prove that. I want to see my blood pressure. I want to see an actual something that you're telling me I have that's directly related to my weight. Yes, there's lots of things that are exacerbated by weight. I'm not going to say there aren't, but I am one of those people who walked around at 425 plus pounds who had perfect blood pressure, had no issues with cholesterol or anything in my blood work that ever showed up on any tests or anything like that. I was pretty damn healthy on paper. So nothing that I ever had dealt with that I went to that was because of me being fat. So I don't really like being told I'm at an unhealthy weight. Unless you're going to say to me, Mary, you have a history of diabetes and cancer and heart disease in your family. You're at an unhealthy, by being the weight you're at as an unhealthy weight, you're putting yourself at a greater risk of having X, Y, and Z. Based on what I'm seeing in your test results, you're kind of headed that way, right? That would be an acceptable way. But I don't want to be referred to just as being unhealthy. Just say I'm morbidly obese. Just say I'm obese. Don't put the unhealthy word on there, because you're making a assumption, or you're automatically making a statement about me when you say that, because there are plenty of people walking around fat who have no health issues. And like
right now, I just don't feel like, I feel like it's a ticking time bomb, because I was very much like you. I was in my 300s. I was walking around 350, 360, 370, 380, fine, walking, working out, exercising, no problems. My A1C was great. All of my labs were good. And then, and it was just like this. It was like good. And then I had ovarian cancer and everything went to shit. And I've been dealing with problem after problem after problem. And some of them are weight related, some of them are not. I think it's all adjacent. And I think that it would be easier to deal with if I didn't have to deal with the weight on top of it all. Because now I have to stop and I have to deal with these issues, and I can't deal with my weight first. And now I have that, you know what I mean? So that's the problem when you're perfectly healthy on paper and you have no other comorbidities besides your obesity at 20 and 30 and 35, but it's a ticking time bomb. It's just, because, that's the problem. Oh, you know what I mean? It's like, when is it going to cease to not be a problem? You just never know. Like, and that's the scary part. And what's going to be the problem? Is it going to be ovarian cancer? Is it going to be a stroke? Is it going to be high blood pressure? Is it just, you know what I mean? Is it going to be one pill, or is it going to be 12 pills? Like, I was on no pills at the beginning of 2020, and now I'm on 4 pills in the middle of 2021 that I take. And like, I realized that this morning and had a good heartfelt cry. Like, I feel like a boomer. But
listen,
it is what it is.
I'm not saying nothing, because you and I are not that much older than each other, but it also has something to do with the age that we're hitting too. Like, I mean,
yes,
let's be honest. I think people need to also understand that as we get older, our bodies start dying. So,
as you
we are going to have issues. Oh yeah,
I carry that weight, and you get older, it creates it's a risk.
Yeah,
it's a risk factor.
Yes, it's a risk factor. But this is what I'm saying.
That doesn't mean that you don't care about yourself. It doesn't mean that you aren't making yourself a priority. It just means that you're overweight. It means that you're morbidly obese. It means that you're fat. It means that you are whatever the word is that you're using for yourself. But that's all it means.
Right. I personally just don't like, I would find, they're talking specifically in this study about patient-doctor relationships.
Right.
So them saying,
I'm just saying, like, for me, I just wish that they would.
I would prefer not to be called an unhealthy weight. I would mind them just saying, like, you're obese and this could be contributing to several of your, I would prefer them not to say that to me, but that's just my own thing. I can understand how to some people hearing that might be like a wake up call, or might be a more, direct way of addressing that. Right. Because for some people, morbid obesity just, that word don't register for them for some strange reason. I don't know. So, it's a matter of preference. I just personally don't like when assumptions or judgments are made about my health based on my weight. That's all. That's my like one little button that I don't like. So I would kind of want my doctor to prove to me why my weight is so unhealthy before they started throwing that word around at me. But anyway, so that's my feel. I had, when I was a freshman in college, my sophomore year, between my sophomore and junior year of college, I stopped menstruating. And I was in my high weight, and I had no idea. I never had any issues before. And so I go to the doctor, and I end up being diagnosed with a ovarian cyst the size of a cantaloupe, right? Like I literally, and I was terrible. Like this was the first time I went to a gynecologist, and I was like 19 years old and had never gone. And so like, I'm like freaking out because it went from like, we're going to have this, we're going to give you a checkup, to like, oh, we got to book you into surgery next week. Right. So it was fine. It was not a big, I got diagnosed with PCOS at the time. I wasn't placed on any medication other than birth control, was on birth control forever. Stopped like maybe a decade or so ago, maybe longer than that. But anyway, cause I just didn't have PCOS anymore. Probably had to do with a lot of stuff there. But the second time I had an ovarian cyst, same doctor, motherfucker goes in the hallway and thinks I don't hear him. And he's telling the nurse that he's going to have to, that the first time they did the surgery, they did it laparoscopically, and that he didn't know if they were going to be able to do that again, because I'm literally now 3 times the size I was when I was there last time, which was complete bullshit. By the way, I wasn't 3 times. I mean, I gained weight, but I was not fucking 3 times the size I was. For me to have been 3 times the size, I would have been like 700 pounds. So like, but this is what he said, like just literally standing outside the door to me. And I was like, he's lucky he's a good doctor. Wow. And so that is something that always sticks in my head. That's a memory that'll never go away as far as that. And I've never had a doctor be that nasty to me or nasty about me since, even when I've had other surgeries, other issues, anything like that. I mean, like I went to a plastic surgeon who I stood in front of naked and saw everything and was like, congratulations on all your hard work. What can I do to make you feel better about yourself? Right? This asshole's like, I don't even know if I can do it laparoscopically because she's so fat. Right. So anyway, so that's my doctor story, which why I might be a little angry about that. So then this was another interesting article, and it was youth perspectives on weight-related words used by healthcare professionals, a qualitative study. And this is, again, also from February of 2020. And it was in Child Care, Health, and Development. That's the name of the article, the journal. And so they did 14 interviews in one focus group with children ages 8 to 16 who were in care because of their weight. So it doesn't, I'm going to go with, this is Dutch children. Okay, so they used a toolkit with customizable interview techniques, was used in order to facilitate reflection and tailor the interview to each respondent. So they wanted to make sure they were able to ask them questions effectively. And so they said respondents attached both clear and subtle differences in meanings to certain weight-related words. Their perspectives were not unanimous for any single word. Moreover, at times, respondents framed certain words in positive or negative ways or used a word they disliked to describe themselves. This illustrates that meanings of weight-related words are not fixed, but context and situation specific. Yes, definitely. It also revealed that meanings children assign to weight-related words are shaped by their experiences in the broader social context, especially at school, as well as with healthcare professionals. It pointed towards the importance of bedside manner, acquaintanceship, and support. Healthcare professionals treating children because of their body weight are advised to invest a good patient-caregiver relationship, pay attention to children's previous negative social weight-related experiences, and reflect critically on their own preconceptions about body weight and the impact those preconceptions might have on their patient-caregiver relationships. Is anybody really surprised that the way a doctor talks to you is going to affect the way you feel about yourself? Really? Just want to scroll through here and see if we had some actual. So it says previous studies suggest that professionals should use constructive language and non-judgmental weight-based terms to establish a good relationship with children and their parents, enhance dialogue, and reduce weight-based stigma. So a survey among U.S. adolescents reported a preference for BMI, or plus size instead of fat or obese. Recent qualitative research in the Netherlands among 7 to 19-year-olds indicated that professionals should use positive or neutral terms like healthier weight and above a healthy weight. Qualitative studies show that adults displayed a great variation in their responses to weight-related words used by healthcare professionals and point towards the importance of manner and timing. However, contextualized and comprehensive understanding of youth perspectives on weight-related words used in healthcare has yet to be established. So they still, again, they need more research. But I thought it was this is interesting that children. I mean, it's not interesting. I think anybody who was fat as a child can feel this, is that, you know, how we feel about certain words has a lot to do with how they're used towards us and to refer to us. So anybody who was mercilessly teased as a fat child will know that the word fat has a completely awful stigma to it for you and probably brings back lots of awful memories, or is not a positively associated word. And, you know, you probably don't want to hear your doctor referring to you as fat. That's that would be my insight on that. I thought the above.
Well, I just don't think a doctor would refer to me as fat. I don't want to hear a doctor referring to me as fat, but I don't mind like a doctor referring to my fat, like fat layers or even fat rolls. But like, yeah.
I think this was interesting in a sense that, you know what I thought was I was kind of expecting to see that I'm not entirely sure we saw in this, was that this is of kids, again, ages 8 to 16. Mm-hmm. And this is from 2 years ago. Mm-hmm. Well, it was published in the 2020 issue. And, you know, with all the social media and all of the discussions we have around body image and the whatnots, I'm surprised. I kind of almost expected in some way to see them have a little bit more. I expected there to be a more positive feeling about certain words, especially because of the kind of like fat acceptance, empowerment kind of like agenda that gets pushed a lot in social media spaces in that niche, that I would think that maybe the word fat wouldn't have as much of a meaning as it used to. But I thought it was interesting that we didn't see that. But I also thought that the terms, what was it? What did they say? BMI, I think, is really an interesting word choice for kids. And plus size. So again, it's like that. It's not it's not insulting, I guess, or has no doesn't have a judgment on it. Plus size.
Well, and BMI plus. Yeah. I don't know. I think it's interesting. I think that kids see more of what really happens on social media than me. And I think that I think that they're more perceptive than we give them credit for. I think that they see the attacks that happen to people especially in the body positivity space, like we just got through talking about Tess Holliday, like, you know, regardless of, you know, like we were talking earlier today, regardless of her problematic behavior, regardless of the questionable messaging that she may be putting out, like, she's under attack every day, and she calls herself fat and talks about embracing her fat, and she's trying to change these standards, and she's under attack daily. Like, it doesn't matter. She could have been an angel. She could have sent out every single t-shirt with a free t-shirt. She's still under attack daily. Like, everything she does is under a microscope, and there is still, no matter how much internet, social media, body positivity there is out there, there is still a moral failing ascribed to being as fat as I am, as fat as you were, as fat as she is. And kids see that. It doesn't matter how many followers somebody like Tess Holliday or Virgie Tovar or whoever else the big movers and shakers are in the space of body positivity. Right. There's still a moral failing assigned to being fat. And kids see that.
That's
and they don't want to be that.
Right. You're right. You're right. I just say, like, I want to say it feels like kids are more accepting these days, but I'm not entirely sure. I go back and forth on that a lot. I really do.
I think at a certain point they begin to become more understanding and accepting. I do. But I think little kids, if they
Little
were
kids
still
are
in
just
school,
honest, man. They're just honest.
yeah. And it's not about being mean or insulting or whatever. It's just that it goes from here to here.
Mhm.
It just goes from here to here as they learn to become social beings,
Right.
and they learn how to filter themselves.
Very true. Okay, so up until like this whole time now, we've been talking about the terms we like to use, the terms we like our medical professionals to use, and then there's another place where I think this word is getting play, or we talk about, and that is in the fashion industry, particularly in in women's clothing. There now, like we talked about this we touched on this last week where I mentioned how, like, back when I was a teenager in my early 20s, there was not a lot of places to shop because not a lot of places had extended sizing. And so now it seems like everybody has extended sizing. I want to say extended sizing because what one place's view of extended is not the same. But there's a hell of a lot more of a variety, and there's a hell of a lot more opportunity to purchase larger clothing.
Yes.
So there's like this entire conversation around how do we refer to that in the fashion industry? Is it plus size models? Is it fat models? Is it plus size fashion? Is it fat fashion? Is it extended sizing? What words feel nice to you when they're talking about your clothing? Personally, I would just like to call it clothing and not have to put a fucking thing on it. Like, here's pants. They come in sizes 2 to 26. Who gives a shit? Like, I don't know. I know that's a radical thing because there's a shit ton of money to be made in plus size fashion, a shit ton of it. So of course we're going to market it separately. We're going to call it something separately. We're going to give it its own section in the store because that is,
unless you're at Target, and then you get
then Target just does it right. They just put everything together.
Target sucks. Target up here. I know. I'm sorry.
Excuse me. Minnesota, let's go. Target sucks. I know.
I know how I feel about Target.
Don't talk to me about Target.
First time I ever said something negative about Target, she was like, "Not my church."
I love Target. Target's like the only place I buy clothes these days because I don't want to spend a ton of money on clothing, especially since I don't go anywhere or do anything. So
I order white t-shirts and tie-dye them. That's it.
There you go.
Although this is a Target shirt. This is a Target shirt that I tie-dyed.
Nice. I think this is from JCPenney's. I get clothes at Penny's because I'm 900 years old.
Better. Like, we just got a Target store inside the Minneapolis city limits that looks like every other Target store out there. Like, we finally got a nice Target store. They had to burn it down in order to give us a decent one.
They just went under here. They just did a whole major renovation of all of them. Like, so they made them, I guess, in their updated 2021 layout version, whatever.
It's terrible. You had to leave the city limits of the headquarters city. You had to leave the city limit. But now because of COVID and like having sent everybody home, like for work from home, like it was such a success that now headquarters is shutting down and making everybody work from home. So
really?
My Target headquarters, they're leaving downtown.
Kathy says, when I was growing up, I'm in my late 50s, the clothing for large women was either Mrs. or queen size.
Yeah, now it's women's. It's women's.
Well,
it's women's at plus size.
Right. Well, it's really confusing because depending upon where you are, it's something. Like, what pisses me off?
Size and then women's plus size, 32 and up.
There's women's plus. Like, what drives me crazy, like, all right, this is a perfect example. So I was trying to buy pants online yesterday from JCPenney again, because I'm 9,000 years old and I shop at JCPenney's. And when they give Come on. That's like my grandmother loved that place.
Who didn't?
I like Penny's, man.
I miss going through the Sears book, Sears catalog.
I know. So they have like, when you want to refine your results and you want to filter it, they ask you for sizing, right? So you can refine them by size. So what do I get? I get Mrs. and woman. What the fuck is Mrs.? Because in my
Mrs. is for teenagers.
That's what I thought. That's what I said. But I'm like, the default for a size 14 pants apparently is in the Mrs. department.
But you have to put the W behind it for grown-ups.
See, this was confusing to me.
And if you're short, you have to put the P behind it.
I know. Well, I do put the P usually because I am very short. But
then you get the women's sizing. When you put the P behind it.
It's confusing to me because at other stores, women's so Macy's, for instance, the women's section is the plus sizes and everything else. I don't know what the fuck they call it. It's just like there's like the Mrs. section, then like the female clothing of females of normal size range, and then there's the plus sizes.
So, now you got me going to Macy's to look at
I love Macy's. So then, I noticed also at JCPenney's is in the children's section, there is children's girls and girls plus, and then there's boys, and they still use Husky, which I think
Huskies.
Is terrible. But it's really annoying in some ways because
it's juniors. Juniors is for teens. Mrs. is for adults.
See?
Women's is plus.
All right. See, I didn't understand this because in my world, Mrs. is teens, is like juniors. It's not women. Women are women.
See,
so
you're so sad. I've never worn regular straight size clothing. I've always ever been.
Dude,
I've never even looked at it.
I've only been wearing straight size clothing for almost 2 years. That's it. So don't get that. Don't be that jealous. It's not been that long.
I'm not jealous. I feel sorry for you because you can't figure it out. I know where to go.
I know. It was so much easier.
On the other end of the spectrum.
I was so much easier. It's just really annoying to me that we have to have 27 differentiations in clothing. I just why can't we just have here's pants? They come in size 2 to 26.
There's juniors for kid or whatever.
Or no, 2 to 26. There's a teenage length, there's petite length, there's average, and there's tall. Right? That's kind of.
I mean, you can't. Or even in straight size clothing, you can't. Clothing. You can't get a size 2 pants that are the same size.
Well, I mean,
they're all cut differently anyway.
God forbid we do it like they do men's sizing and just have a waist and an inseam on pants and then make it really easy. God, that would be fucking ridiculous.
Because then women would start feeling okay, good.
Right.
Heaven forbid.
But so this whole fat fashion industry is a real discussion because people don't know if some people find the terms fat fashion to be empowering and some people find the term fat fashion to be insulting. Personally, I don't care. I just want to be able to figure out where the clothes are that I want to buy.
I'm super excited about it personally, even though all I wear is my tie-dye because I freaking work from home. I can barely wear shoes anymore. I don't even know how to tie my shoes these days. But I feel like it's
now it's plus vanity
sizing.
Dude,
yep.
You want to talk about where the worst fucking vanity sizing is ever? In the wedding gown industry.
Yes.
You be wearing I remember when I went to get my gown, they were don't be freaked out if you're 2 sizes to 3 sizes bigger than you normally are and I'm okay. But yeah, wedding gowns are a total their sizing is so fucked. I don't even know where to begin with that. I don't even know where they come up with their sizes. I have no clue. But again, I don't really care what they call it. I just want it to be easy to figure out where to go to get my clothes. And I will say this.
I feel like it will eventually level itself out. I just remember, I'm sure you remember this too. Like, I just remember like seeing the occasional fat woman.
Mm-hmm.
Is that the word we're using? Walking down this, like, I have a cousin who's she's always been big. She's always been fat. And she was just so glamorous. She's always makeups and wigs and the flowy dresses and flip flops and her toenails were out. And I never I could never figure out where she got her clothes from, because they didn't sell the clothes that she wore at Lane Bryant. She just always looked so glamorous. Even to this day, she's always so glamorous and so well put together. And I'm like, where is she getting her clothes from? And it's why it's not why I don't wear makeup. There's other reasons why I don't wear makeup, but it's why I dress the way I do, because I never knew how to dress a body like this. Like, she did, but I didn't. And
well, they make it impossible for you to even try to figure it out too.
But now there are these clothes. Yeah. It's so much easier to go out and like find cute pants, cute tops, cute dresses, and all that other stuff. But now here I am, like, pushing 50 and knock-kneed, and I don't shave my legs anymore, and I am not about to shave my legs for anybody, so I don't need a cute little dress. Just give me my Cookie Monster pajama pants and my tie-dye shirts, and I'm so comfortable with who I am now. It's okay.
That's all that matters.
I'm so excited for those coming behind me.
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
you don't have to look so hard to find these clothes. So yeah, you got to figure out, like, But here's the key. Here's your secret weapon right here. This is your secret weapon. Learn how to use it.
Yeah.
Because this will never lie to you. Like,
right.
This will never lie to you. So whatever your vanity sizing are and boutique sizes and all that, this is never going to lie to you. And if you learn how to use this.
We're so close to, like, there almost being a normalization. Like, I noticed
of you just being able to dress your body.
Well, yesterday I went shopping, and I took the kids with me, and I should not have taken the kids with me, but anyway. Because I am one of those people, when it comes to clothing shopping, I will take like 500 items into the dressing room and try everything on to see how it fits. And we just got our dressing rooms back. So it's been a nightmare the last year and a half, because I can't try anything on. And because of all my body changing so much, I have no fucking idea. So I took the kids with me, and I ended up having to do the fastest shopping I've ever done in my life. So I brought a bunch of stuff home yesterday, tried it on more when I got home. But when I was looking around in the store, what I noticed right off the bat was that I was looking for, because pants are cut differently everywhere. Like, so I was looking for I was looking at the sizes 12 to 16 because of the way the different pants were cut and shaped or whatever, the usual bullshit. And all of that was in the same area as like the straight sizing, right? Which was great, so I didn't feel like I had to go searching. I just had to look through the racks, right? And then I noticed that like adjacent was where like the bigger plus sizing was. So it's still like relegated to its own space in the store, but at the same time, what is now incorporated into straight sizing slash, I guess, more popular sizing, or, is a higher numbers, right? Higher numbers, which is, I think, a good thing. And eventually I would just like to see all of it together in one spot, so that, I know that a lot of it has to do with the fact that in department stores, at least, that there's certain brands some brands only make plus size clothing or extended size clothing, so they have to have their own
stop at size 12 and
so I get it has a lot to do with the branding. And I happened to be shopping in like the Liz Claiborne section because I needed suiting, so this was what I was looking at. And I wish it was just all together. Like, it would make my life, it would be so much easier if it was all together.
I don't mind having a plus size section or extended sizes section. I don't see a problem with that so much. And maybe it's because I'm so used to it. Like
It sounds complicated. Dude, you have no idea. I could buy
so
10 pairs of the same size pants and they will all be different sizes. You have no idea how complicated women's clothing
can be.
Unbelievably complicated.
And let's not get started on trying to get a bra to fit.
Oh God, don't even go there. Don't even go there.
But I don't know. I think it, to me, like I think the first step for me is like the variety, the availability.
Yeah, no, I am way happy to see that. Way happy to see that.
So great. And yeah, like the end goal is just to have clothes be clothes. And like, will Liz Claiborne ever make a suit in a size 32? Probably never, but like that would be great too. Like that would be really great to see a well-made, well-tailored suit that fits a size 32 body. But
well, she did make one. She did make one up to size 28. Just so you know.
Oh, well, I didn't know that. I had no idea.
I mean, like I was able to get at size 30 suits still. So, and they were like, what do you call it? Like, I can't. What the hell is this? They were like hot. They were very brand designing. Like it was like like Jones, New York, for instance. Like they do that. They do. They know they have to make that size because there are plenty of fat people walking around who need that kind of stuff.
Right.
It's just that you got to pay out the fucking nose.
That was my next.
You gotta open a vein to buy it.
Yes. Is that? Oh God. The price of clothes is just
unbelievable.
Like I get it. It does take more fabric, but some of these folks are still paying these people that are making them. 17 cents a day.
Yeah. Yep.
And it's just like unbelievable. Like it's unbelievable. And like I go to Lane Bryant and their clothes are like so ridiculous.
They're so expensive.
And they're like 3 used clothes. You wash them 3 times and they're toast. I've got some jeans. I'm surprised they're still like the button. I'm surprised that the little buttons are still on the jeans.
They stopped making the only pair of jeans I ever wore from them that were like the most comfortable. And then after that, I was like, this sucks.
I know my favorite pair of pants they don't make anymore. And I wish that
they
I
stopped making a bunch. They used to have really good office clothing. Like I used to buy all of my work pants and my shirts and stuff, blousing and stuff like that. And then it kind of, I don't know what the hell happened, but it was ugly when I was a kid. And then somewhere around when I became in my mid-20s and 30s, it got really good in terms of work apparel. And then like 5 or 6 years ago, it just went down fucking hill again. I don't know what the hell happened, but it was like try to find I don't want to say age appropriate, but like business office setting kind of clothing. And it was like everything's to go clubbing or something. I was just like, what the hell happened? You know, it used to be a reliable place. Like I almost went yesterday. I was like, I should just go to Lane Bryant and try to look for pants, but I didn't. So anyway, the word fat and all its offshoots, not, depending upon your experience with them, is gonna basically dictate how you feel about that word or not.
Absolutely.
So again, I don't care about the word fat.
But
call me fat,
things are changing, and if the word is a troublesome word for you, you're gonna have to do some self-reflection and do some dig deep and look inside yourself, because things are changing, and that word may or may not be used more and more, or less and less. Who knows? I don't know, but y'all better be looking inside yourselves and working on yourselves, because.
Or how about we just not refer to anybody by their body size? That would be, unless you're giving the police a description of me
Of
as
somebody
I'm
who robbed
fleeing the
you.
scene of a crime.
Exactly.
You really don't even need to talk about what my size of my body is, really. I mean, don't.
Or, like, learning how to set boundaries and talk to your doctor about the way your doctor uses the terms is important, though. Like, there's that.
Yeah.
I mean, there is that. Like, if your doctor has a crappy bedside manner, like, you could either just go find a new doctor.
You know how I feel. I feel like you get 3 strikes and you're out with me. You fuck up 3 times. I'm like, I'm finding a new doctor. There's just I've had the 1 strike and you're out rule. Like, there are certain things I won't put up with from a doctor, and
exactly.
That's why they call it.
Well, I have the best doctor in the world. You can't have her. Best doctor in the world lives in Minneapolis. Well, I don't know where she lives, but she works up here.
Sounds like
she's mine.
I'm about to try a new doctor in July. We'll see how this goes.
My fingers are crossed for you.
Thank you. So, Angie, you feel like playing?
Yes.
Are you free tomorrow night?
Oh yeah, we were supposed to play a game on Sunday.
Game tomorrow night? Yeah. Well, I was tired. So, do you want to feel like playing word games tomorrow night?
Let's play some word games tomorrow night. What time? What time are we going to play some word games?
Our usual time, 5, 6, whatever your time is. 5 p.m. my time. Interactive words on this. It's words on stream. So
only playing if Kathy C comes and Toasty and Kathy have to be here, or I'm gonna storm off. I'm gonna flounce.
Well,
and I know how to find Kathy.
Well, it's an interactive game. You play by entering it in the chat. It's kind of like they give you a bunch of letters. You try to make as many words as you can. They tell you how many 4-letter words, how many 3-letter words, blah, 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 blah. It's very self-explanatory. You probably played a version of it before. Hopefully, by the end of next week, I will have it so that we can play like really fun trivia games and like really bad like drawing games and stuff like that, where we can all show off our lack. I can show off my lack of artistic talent. But yeah, which I think we're gonna play some games tomorrow, and it'll be an open chat. We will not have a topic. We will just shoot the shit about whatever.
Yes.
Whatever.
We'll get ourselves in trouble.
Whatever gossip you got. What's going on online? What's going on the social media? What's the latest Twitter mess? I have no idea. Yeah, we're gonna do trivia because I love trivia too. Like, I absolutely love trivia. I think I'm gonna get the new You Don't Know Jack party packs, and you can do like mystery murder, mystery trivia, and like regular trivia. Yeah, you can do all this stuff. So I'm gonna get all that, and I'm going to get it all set up for us. But tomorrow I can do that. Really, the one we're gonna do tomorrow is very easy too. It's web based, so I don't have to worry about that. And there might be prizes. I don't know. There might be some prizes. I have no idea. But bring your gossip. bring whatever. I will tell you right now.
Gossip.
I don't watch TV, really. So if you got some good TV shows you want to recommend, if it's on any of the streaming or anything like that, any of the streaming services, anything like that, great. You like horror movies? We talk about horror movies. You like the Golden Girls? We talk about the Golden Girls. Things like that. I like horror movies.
I live alone. I don't be watching horror movies.
Got any good books you read lately? I am open to that as well. I love talking.
I keep wanting to read the Edward Snowden book because that's how behind I am on the times. But right. I'm afraid to read that because then I'll be like.
That's my husband. My husband has a thing over his camera. He doesn't let anybody look at it. Let me let anybody look at it. Probably. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. I just tell people all the time, I'm like, I'm out there. I don't care. You can find me pretty easily. I don't really make it that difficult, but
I know, me neither.
Yeah, I know. So bring whatever kind of interesting conversation. Bring anything. You can ask us questions if you want to know anything about us. Like, I'm very open book. I don't care.
I'm a semi-open book.
I may not talk about what I used to do for a living, but that's okay.
I've got some paper clips on a couple of chapters.
Uh-oh.
Just a couple of chapters. Some of the more X-rated chapters you
I
might
have
have
no.
to.
I have no X-rated chapters.
Well, there are some chapters that I need to be in the hot tub to.
Oh, that's right. I'm gonna get an inflatable hot tub, and I'm gonna put it in my living room, and I'm gonna charge people to write their names on my arms.
And your booty.
If you did not know, this is a very popular genre of content on Twitch, to which apparently there's all sorts of debate and like arguments about, because people find it, whether you find it tasteless. I know, Kathy, I get it. I know, Sue. It's not what I would want to do or not what I would find entertaining. But God love the hot chicks who figured this shit out, because they're making a shit ton of money. If all you had to do was sit in a hot tub in a bikini and have people pay to super chat or throw bits at you or whatever in Twitch to see you to write their name on your arm. I mean, Jesus, like I can't be mad because they figured it out. They figured out the system. I can't be mad at it. Can't hate it. You know, like what else? It does. I mean, the debate it's legit. It is legit. If you didn't know this, the argument is that for women like us who choose to talk about topics and, you know, pretend to be intelligent.
Kathy, there's a lot of people who want to see fat girls in
There's
the
a
hot
lot
tub.
of
I'm just saying.
There are a lot. But for women who want to just have shows and be topical and talk like we do and like pretend to be a cannonball off the roof and empty that hot tub.
And then you would get voted out the island.
Let me tell you though, I wish I was kidding when I say that the hot tubs are in these people's fucking living rooms, because I'm not. on the other stream that I do, we actually had this as a topic, and like sales of portable inflatable hot tubs were gone. Like they went through the roof. You couldn't find any because of this. This was like a huge thing. So, you know, there's a lot of women who feel like it doesn't allow us as the non-sexualized people to grow an audience and to become popular and to make a living or any money off of this, versus women who choose to just you know, get half naked and write their names while sitting in a hot tub. But again, I can't be mad because it's brilliant.
I don't know. I feel like hot tubs are gross, though.
Well, hot tubs are disgusting. They're like petri dishes with heat on them. Yeah. Yes, I agree completely.
Thank you. I feel fully validated right now.
You did. And this is also the same reason why I don't like taking baths either. You're sitting in your own gross.
We're really going in like swimming pools or ocean.
I don't like swimming pools. Swimming pools are fine. Ocean is fine. I just have to shower immediately after I get
fish
out.
poop in that water, and then somebody told me that whales ejaculate in the water too. Like it's
they live in the water.
I can't go in the ocean. It's a beautiful thing, but I can't do it.
I have not been in the Pacific Ocean. I've only been in the Atlantic. I don't know. I like, my goal in life is to go somewhere where that's that crystal blue water where you can see the bottom.
It's still got microscopic.
I know.
Swimmers.
Knowing me, I'll get bitten by a fucking box jellyfish.
I know.
Anyway.
I'm not doing it.
Yeah, Pacific Ocean up here is cold. That's what my husband says. He's certified to dive, and he's like, you don't even want to talk about how cold it is. I'm like, yeah, I don't want to talk about how cold. I think I put my feet in the Pacific, but I've not been in it. I'm not swimming. At least your feet. Yes, thanks. Right?
In the poop water.
Poop water. Great. This is what I'm going to think about now. Next time I go to the ocean.
You hear my voice in your head going,
"Not the poop water." Okay, so Oregon coast is deadly undertow. So yeah, I've seen that. I've seen apparently the Oregon coast has some crazy fucking bacterial infection in some of the water right now too. That's killing a bunch of fish. So I read that in the paper yesterday.
That's terrible.
Because I'm 900 years old and I still read the paper. Anywho, red tide, yeah. Yeah. Okay. So back to
Game
gaming.
night
Game night tomorrow night. I crab over
outside
there.
of the water pool.
Okay,
I mean,
so
it was hot though.
I will just say this. This is my one thing. Like, I can agree with Angie to a point because I do go swimming in the ocean, but I will not eat anything that comes out of the water, ocean water. Will not eat anything that comes out of water in general. Lakes.
Dude, I just
ocean,
ate a bunch of oysters
nothing.
the other day. Ooh, they were so
Nope.
good.
Nope. If it comes out of the ocean, I'm not eating it.
Man.
Not happening. No.
I don't know why I won't get in the water, but I will.
You'll eat what comes out of it.
Like,
you just sat there and told me about whales ejaculating in the water, but you'll eat the fucking.
But they don't ejaculate inside of oysters.
The oysters are in the water with it.
Man.
Anyhow,
I guess I swallowed.
Oh my god. Okay.
This got X-rated really fast.
This is not well. We are not. We're not rated for children's content, so it doesn't really matter.
Oh my god, I'm so sorry.
I just want you to know something right now. Just be prepared for this because I'm going to tell you right now. I'm going to market this episode with that quote, just so you know.
Oh, that's going to be the intro.
That's going to be how I refer to this episode on all my social media when I tell people to watch it. Okay.
So,
game night tomorrow, 5 p.m. Pacific. What time is that? 6 p.m. your time? Are you 2 hours or 1 hour?
No, wait. What time is it where you are?
When it's 5 p.m. at my time, what time is it?
What time is it now?
Right now, it's 6:21.
Okay, yeah. It's 8:22 my time.
Oh, so you're 2 hours. Okay. All right. So 5 p.m. Pacific.
Thank you, Kathy.
Board games. Kathy, I'm with you, Brown Girl Life.
That was Mary. She just doesn't want to
I
be public.
talk about it because my husband's right there. Anyway, he'll just say something in chat. Don't worry about it. Okay. So, guys, thank you so much for for coming and watching. I appreciate everybody who was in the chat. I appreciate everyone who's viewing. Thank you for making this a fun discussion as always. It's always great when we have a lot of people to chat with and give us more points to talk about. Thank you to everybody, to Big Boss, to Is That You Toasty, Kathy, Sandy, Coffin Queen. Who else are we missing? Let me scroll back up. Am I missing
Always
anybody?
Scott.
Always Scott, the moderator extraordinaire. He's our mod. I don't think I'm missing anybody.
Sandy, just Sandy?
Yeah, that's Sandy. Yes, I said Sandy.
Okay.
Bun.
Sure.
Yep. Okay, that's everybody. Okay. So thank you all for coming and interacting. We always love it and make the conversation so much more fun when you guys have something to say and challenge us on what we're talking about and add to it. We love to hear your feedback. We love to hear insights. It always gets us going, making us think in different ways. Thank you again. Thank you. If you are looking for other content on Twitch, please consider all of the people we link to on our channel page. We have some great DJs, gamers, other types of streaming that goes on there. All quality content, all fun. Find something you'll like, guaranteed there. So give them a chance. Check them out. And thank you to all of them for the support that they've given our channel. We really, really do appreciate it. They've been fantastic to our channel, good friends to the channel. We love it. If you are not subscribed to us on YouTube at I'll Take the L, consider joining. Consider subscribing there so you don't miss an episode if you choose to watch through YouTube. If you choose to use Twitch, please consider following the channel. We are so close to affiliate status that we can have some fun with you guys or if we get to affiliate status. So if you are not following us, please do. Tell your friends, tell your family, tell anybody you care, anybody you think will like content like this. My dog is howling in the background. I don't know if you can hear that. I can, which means it's really loud. That's a basset hound, by the way. So give us a follow, give us a like. If you appreciate this kind of content, tell a friend, tell your family, tell loved ones, tell everybody you care about. Angie, as always, it has been so much fun and so wonderful to talk to you. I love it.
Always.
I'll talk to you later tonight. I already have our topic for Wednesday picked out, and I will send you when I get the research.
Always tell who does the research when.
Sometimes it's 15 minutes before the show. Sometimes it's 15 hours. You never know. Anyway, thank you so much, everybody. Have a great night. Thanks so much again. Appreciate all of you. Enjoy your evenings and game night tomorrow, 5 p.m. word games. We're going to have some fun and open conversation. We can talk about whatever you want. So bring whatever topics you want to talk about. Have a good night, everybody.